Hey y'all, it's Gord trying new angles on the camera, trying to answer your questions. I did a Q&A just a little while ago and I promised the answers. So here we go, step by step. We'll start at the bottom. The people who asked first get the answers first, and I'll do my best to answer them all. I've read them all. I just need to think about them all. Uh, first came with first question was hanging with Chris. He said, "My question is, what's your opinion on different jar companies that clean to preserve your herb, claim to preserve your okay, like Bovida. How do you preserve your herb? Do you just use a mason jar? Okay, so I use Bovida. I use it only when I have like a half ounce or more, because usually if it's less than that, I don't need to preserve it. I'm going to smoke it. Uh, but if I want to keep it, I use Bovida. I believe in them. They won't go too. They won't let your medicine get too soft and gushy, and it won't let it get hard and crumbly. It keeps it rather moist and proper without any mold or anything. So I always swear by Bovida. I haven't tried anything else. I hope that answers your question. Next, from Gator Kid 51. I'm 20 and my high school group smokes blunts. I like blows and vape and dab. I smoked blunts all through high school and stopped for 2 years. Do you think it's okay to smoke a blunt with groups of friends once in a while, or should I say I'm good on the blunt, but thank you? I've actually had a couple of followers ask me to do a video about blunts and whether they're good or bad. So, in answer to your question, you gotta make your own choice as to whether blunts are good or bad for you. They are bad for me, but I never make an opinion like that on anyone else. For some others, it may be the way they can quit smoking. For those of you who don't know, a blunt is a tobacco leaf used to roll up pot and tobacco together. It's a different taste. I personally have never had one because I won't roll tobacco with my pot. I think, having something cancerous. I quit smoking cigarettes 8 years ago, 9 years ago. I don't want them. I don't want tobacco in my lungs. I don't want to hurt myself. But those are choices people have to make. I've heard of some people who say, thanks to blunts, I quit smoking. Well, you're getting a little bit of tobacco, so you're still smoking. But if it stopped you from buying a pack of cigarettes a day, and you have a blunt or two a day, or a blunt or two a week, yay. But you should always try to move away from these cancer causing things, such as tobacco. And a blunt involves tobacco. Again, though, I'm not into prohibition of anything, even if it's bad for you. People have to make the choice themselves. If they want something that's bad for them, they should be allowed to have it. Period. I'm for freedom. So, are blunts bad? They're bad for me. Next. How do you balance the cost of your meds and having to move, etc.? I'm having to choose, but this is from the Nightingale. A great name, Nightingale. I'm having to choose between cannabis that helps me but not covered, and pharmaceuticals that also help me but give me far more risk and side effects. I feel for you. And to every one of you out there, this is a difficult transition we're going through. If you're switching from pharmaceuticals to cannabis, for sure in Canada you're not getting covered. You're moving from something that maybe with a copay of the insurance company maybe cost you $100 a month maximum for pharmaceuticals, to anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a month for cannabis. It can get very expensive, and it's next to impossible. I've heard of few people have commented as to how they've gotten their insurance, but it's difficult. How do I balance it? We all got to play our own things, and that's rather private, how I pay my bills and all that. But I try to just work with the dispensary I'm with I buy only when it's on sale. I try to make it last as long as possible, which means I under-medicate, which is not a good thing. So the main thing I do is I advocate, like all of you do, to get out there and Canada, let's get off the pot and onto the cannabis. Let's get real. People who have a medical issue should have medical coverage all across the board, whether we decide Percocet is the right thing for our pain or cannabis. We should be covered. If there's coverage, it shouldn't matter what the medicine is. That's discrimination against medicine. That's being potophobic. Next is from Patrick Wagner. Do you think that big business is going to kill the farmers in California? Big business will kill the farmers everywhere. Has nothing to do with pot, unless we're talking about big business cannabis. And I have argued against big business cannabis. We have it here in Canada with the LP system protected by the government. It's not a good thing. I'm not for it. Big farmers, big cannabis, big pharmaceuticals. I don't care for any of it. Local and mom pop, that's what I'm for 100% of the time. Do I hear an amen? Amen. Okay, let's move on. Jeremy Stevens. Hey, Gord, do you suffer from anxiety? And if you do, what strains help you the most? Or what do you do to deal with severe anxiety? Great question. What I do the most for my anxiety is CBD. I do THC for many different reasons: mood, depression, pain. I do CBD for a couple of reasons: anxiety, inflammation, and pain. So managing that mix is what I do. For anxiety, I have found CBD to be absolutely incredible. And in fact, I've just tried it, and I will be doing a video about it in a while. CBD crystalline, pure, 98% pure CBD. And it comes in little tiny crystals. It looks like sugar. And it's amazing how it just clears the mind. And CBD works very hard at that. Anxiety is quite often caused by memories of past issues going wrong, so you're afraid that something's going to go wrong. It blocks those memories. It allows you to just relax and think about the positive things that are happening around you. So, anxiety, CBD. For me. And for many people I've talked to. Not for everybody. But I want to remind people, you don't just take CBD and go, there, my anxiety's over. It usually takes 3 to 4 to 5 days to build up enough tolerance in your body to the CBD that the CBD is actually starting to affect the anxiety and not just fill the cannabinoid receptors. It's a scientific thing that I read about. Anyways, Jeremy, I hope that answers your question. Next question, she's ready to live. Peace. Cheers. Hey, last week lost a dear friend of mine, man, back in the 80s. And but hold it, was there a question here? I know that was a good story, and I'm sorry that you lost somebody, but I know that there's questions. How can they keep prescribing meds that, because he died of drug overdose, and the main, I don't want to read it all, it's rather personal, but taking prescribed anxiety meds, Ativan, and it's basically what did the person in. How could we be in a world that has that? And I wish I could answer that. That's not a question for me to answer, except to say I totally agree. It is nice that we're in a world where more and more... I just reported on Weedy Weekend yesterday, my news show. Check it out. I reported that pharmaceutical companies are expected to lose over $4 billion a year. In that study, they looked at Tilray, a Canadian producer. They interviewed 271 of the patients at Tilray and asked them their reasons for taking medical cannabis. 63% really blew them out of the water. They thought it was very low. 63%, overwhelming majority of them, said that they take cannabis to get away from pharmaceutical drugs. They want something, even if it doesn't work as well at blocking things, it gives them control, and there's little to no side effects. The side effects that are minimal. So she's ready to live. All I can say is I'm with you. We're in a world where that is changing. Will it always be out there? Yes. Pharmaceutical companies are forever going to try and push Ativan and any of those others onto people. But we're becoming a better educated society, and more of us are saying no. All we can do to help speed that up is share the information. Get it out there. You hear anybody that doesn't believe in cannabis as a medicine, you need to let them know that they're just not seeing the world the way it really is. Their perception is wrong, and they need to change with information. Only information can change that, not anger. It's got to be done in a peaceful way. Ancient Stone, hey, you still kicking? Yes, I am. The dog. Ancient Stone, some of your comments are the best. That's your question. I answered it. Cody Stills asked, where can I get CBD buds in Illinois? Well, any of you Illinois people, if you could comment below, where can he get CBD? That would be great if you could tell him. I don't know. In Chicago, I'm sure there must be a way. Anyways, and then a couple more questions, both from the same guy, that friggin' guy from Hamilton. Peace, Bart. I have a question, Gord. Do you think that we're making progress in the cannabis community, or we're getting the shaft with the upcoming legalization? How do you see it turning out? I think we are getting the shaft, but we always get the shaft. It's the government. The government gives you the shaft. We're getting a smaller piece of shaft, if you want to put it that way. But us as medical users are being put to the side while this legalization for recreation happens. There's little to no changes to the medical program that needs a lot of changes. Are we getting the shaft, though? In reality, I would say no. I do think that it's coming. Everything, I had thought that it would be delayed even further, but so far it looks like it's going to happen, and it's such a good catalyst for an explosion of legalization all throughout the world. I reported again on Weedy Weekend that France is now going to pardon everybody that's in prison for cannabis. They're doing it the right way, though. They're pardoning everybody, getting them out of jail before they switch to a decriminalized or legal healthcare provided system of marijuana. Not just medical marijuana, treating it as a health concern, not a criminal concern. So they're doing it right. We're not doing it quite right. We're still making criminals out of people who wouldn't be a year from now. So we're getting the shaft that way because we just have a dumb prime minister. We got a guy who just doesn't see that, even though his brother got off on pot because his dad had lots of money, everybody else can keep getting charged until the law changes. Silly. So we're getting the shaft that way. And then you asked one more question about, from what I've heard, apparently 4 plants per household allowed as of 2018 approval. I don't know how true that is, but can we look forward to Gord's Grow? I'll stop you right there. I rent a house now. I don't own my house, so I know I won't be growing. I know the owners won't want it. And even though the rights, from what I've researched under ACMPR, they can't say no to you growing because it's a legal right now. It is their property, and you know what? I like my owners. I respect them, and I respect this house. This house has been in their family for 50 years. So I just want to respect it. I won't be growing. I won't be doing Gord's Grow videos. And I don't really have a green thumb. I grew when I was 19 or 20 a few plants. They turned out okay. They didn't smoke very well. But I could learn. But there's only so much time in the day, and I got an 8-year-old child. Maybe down the road, when he's 12 or 16, and all this hoo-ha is behind us, maybe I'll start growing. Maybe by then I'll even own the place again. So will I never grow? Can't say that. Will I be growing shortly or doing Gord's Grow videos? No, I won't be. Sorry. And that, 15 minutes, and I answered all the questions. We'll do another Q&A in a couple of months. Peace and cheers, love and harmony. I hope I answered all your questions correctly. Lots of love. Thank you all for joining.